Hey, how you doing? It's Nicola. I'm going to be talking to you today about the three shortcuts to success. Hopefully this day is finding you well. And if you're not in great spirits, maybe this will have you keep your head up a little bit. These three things I'm going to be sharing with you are things that I've used to amass I would say incredible success in a short period of time. You might not think it's so short. A little over a decade ago, I was an overworked hairstylist, and all I knew was to work hard. And these three things that I'm going to share with you are going to help you, hopefully, because it helped me. And the three things: number one, the first thing is leverage. I did take some notes because you know what? A good, honest person is going to let you know that it took notes. I don't have anything to hide. So I took some notes to make sure I don't leave anything out because I think it's going to help somebody. So if you think it's going to help somebody, go ahead and like, tag, and share this right now. And then you just put in the comments shared because I think it's going to help somebody. Just share it. And so the first one I would say is leverage. Hey, Larry, how are you? Is leverage, right? Leverage. And I'm going to tell you something. Leverage. For me, these things helped me. Now, there may be some people that say there are no shortcuts to success, but I believe that this has taken off years of what I could have still been in a hair salon, working super hard, putting all the hard work in and still not getting ahead. So the first one is leverage, and that's doing more with less. Many people, they are experienced being leveraged, but they have not been able to learn well how to leverage. And so when you start thinking about leverage, some people feel like, you know what, I don't want to be used, right? And so you don't want to think like that. I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about the mindset. You don't want to think like that because leverage is not about being used or abused. It's using something for a higher purpose. And so people can have win-win situations with leverage, meaning that it's something in it for everyone. And so I want you to think of leverage as your friend because it's doing more with less. And this is the reason why, if you're not highly leveraged, I used to never be highly leveraged because, for instance, I was in a single parent home at one point, right? So obviously, myself, if I'm a single parent with multiple kids, then you're being stretched, you're being exhausted because you don't have leverage. You can't do more with less. Like when you now maybe in a two-parent house where, now people can leverage each other. Like you go get the bottle this time or you go cut the lawn. But if it's just one person, they're going to be cutting the lawn, they're cooking the food, they're bringing home the bacon, which includes now we start talking about a single income. When you have a single income, one income, then most of the income is already spoken for, right? Already allocated. It's already been directed, whether to bills, responsibilities. And so being able to leverage another stream of income, which means you can do more with less, now you have more income and you can do more. So you got getting this thing about leverage because I didn't understand it at first, because I thought that as long as you had a decent business or a decent job and it was a great income, I had a six-figure income, but it was still one income. So anything could happen and take that one income to no income, and then there wasn't another income. And so even in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 11, it tells you now that you want to have 78 ventures or investments or incomes because you don't know when one is up, the other is down. And so when one is down, you can leverage the other. You get that? So leverage is so powerful. And so most people, they understand leverage because they're being leveraged. Maybe if you're now working in a job. I love jobs. Listen, I had a business. My sons like to work, what have you. But I'm letting you know that the fact is that you understand leverage because you're being leveraged. You're on the other side. And so even if you have a job, leverage a side income, and then you can do more with less. And so what you want to know is because if you're not leveraged, you're going to be exhausted. You're going to be frustrated. You're going to feel stretched. Those are things that now make you feel like you want to give up and give out. But there's fix for that, right? The next thing that I learned as a shortcut to success because is compounding. Compounding. Now, again, you've probably experienced compounding because compounding, Albert Einstein says it's the eighth wonder in the world. You know why? Because it's whatever it is applied to, it becomes more. So, when you want success, that means you're going to have some sort of progress in some area, which means more progress. And so when you start talking about compounding, again, anything it's applied to, it becomes more. And so about compounding when you start thinking about, maybe money, for instance. Some people say, well, you know what, if compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world, why am I not experiencing the eighth wonder? Because compounding, because it's a law, it'll work either way. So it may be working for you or it could be working against you. Well, what are some examples of compounding working against you? Well, we know, because if you want to say first, let me explain what it is. Compounding would be like this. If I had $100 and I am going to compound it with 10% of interest, then I get $110 after it is compounded, after the interest is applied. But now when you start to say, okay, well, you want to compound, you take another 10% and you add it not to $100, but now to the $110, which will now give you $121. Now, you're like, wait a minute, that's just the extra dollar. That's the tricky thing about compounding. It looks like a little bit in the beginning, but when it keeps doing that, because the next time you're going to compound 10% times $121. Now we're talking. And then now later on, the thing with compounding, why it's tricky is because sometimes it takes time and people don't want that. They say a shortcut, I don't need it to take time, but the thing about it is it can move as fast as you want it to go. So you understand compounding because you probably experienced it with like maybe a credit card, for instance, especially if you have a high interest rate, it's compounding. So if you have a balance, you have 1 month and you carry that month over, the interest is going to multiply times the higher amount. So now it means compounding is working against you like that. The same thing like if you got a house, a 30-year mortgage. Wait a minute, I bought the house for $100,000. Why did I end up paying $400,000 for the house? Because it was compounding over 30 years. But what if compounding was working for you? What if the money was coming in the other direction? What if the numbers were coming toward you versus away from you? And so I had to learn about those things to say, wait a minute, compounding doesn't even care about who you are, your past. It just want to be used. How about more leveraged? So when you start thinking about compounding, let's talk about it for a moment about numbers. Because we can talk about money. It's easy, right? Because everyone says, hey, I need it, I want it, money. But when we start talking about compounding with numbers, because we don't care about what symbol is in front of the numbers or in back of the numbers, meaning it could be $1, a yen, a euro, or on the back end, it could be people, it could be oranges, it could be whatever it is. It doesn't matter. It works the same. And so when you start thinking about compounding, I didn't know and say, wait a minute, are you telling me if I can use leverage in compounding, I can move faster than just linear income or just me by myself? Well, this is why most people, they're scratching their head on, why have I been working so many years and I'm not getting ahead? Because literally you're not leveraging and there's no compounding because every dollar is trading time for hours. So there's nothing that come on top of it unless obviously you go and invest it. And this is what we want you to do. Invest not only your money, but what about if you invest your time toward compounding? So there are industries that use this very well. And because of the lack of understanding of it, people have the nerve to say crazy things about it. Like the industry I've been in for 12 years, network marketing. If I did not come out of the idea of that there could have even possibly been something else out there, that was the first step. I had to say, it has to be something else out here because there's no way that I'm working as hard as I do, 12, 14 hours, and I'm not becoming successful. Or now that I added more people to my family, we ended up going from a family of 3 to a family of 6 because I got married, and then Robert had a son, and then now we had a son together. We were like, wait a minute, the leveraging definitely went crazy because it was a crazy economic time, and so our money was going down. It was not being leveraged or compounded, and so we were seeing depletion. Can that be scary? Yes. But when you begin to understand how to use those shortcuts for your benefit. And when you start thinking about compounding, and I started a business and it started with me, and then maybe they went and got a few people. I went and just shared it with a few people, and they went and got a few people, and they went and got a few people. And you're talking about massive growth. Little old me, hairstylist, raspy voice, quit college, and I'm using these 2 shortcuts. And then I got only but so far without this 3rd one. I started seeing growth, started earning money, and didn't know what to do with it. I mean, listen, but this 3rd one, now this one, along with leverage and compounding, it's called mentorship. A mentor, it's not somebody that's going to do the work for you at all. No. But it's a guide who's already took the ride. A guide who's already taken the ride. They literally have gone where you're trying to go. And imagine avoiding the frustration. Imagine avoiding the uncertainty. And literally, you get to leverage the mentor's expertise. And then you can compound what you learn from the mentor from what you learn from yourself. And then, bam, I've had, I would say, some of the most amazing, beautiful mentors in my life. That when you actually are mentored, literally, you can't help yourself but to want to mentor others. God has been so good to me to send people in my life that in areas where I wanted to get better, faster. A mentor is a shortcut to mastery. Literally, you can become a master. You can do something better than you've ever done by someone sharing with you exactly how it should be done. But the thing about mentorship, sometimes they'll say some things you just don't like. I realized I just wasn't ready, right? Everyone's not ready for mentorship because they think they already know the way, or they're too cool for school, leave class too early. But it takes a different mindset to even accept any of the shortcuts that I just shared with you. People are wandering around aimlessly trying to figure out success, and all you need is leverage, compounding, and a mentor. But it's not any mentor. Why? Because mentorship, guess what? It comes with all sorts of other things. You got to match up value systems. You got to match up. Are you trying to go where they have already been? Because guess what? Like, for instance, if I was wanting to learn how to play tennis bad to the bone, I would want Serena Williams to be my mentor, right? But if I was going into an industry that she's never gone to, okay, she wouldn't be the mentor. But when you start thinking about now, a lot of people have been asking me, how did you become a boss from home? I'm standing right here on my deck before I go pick up my mom and take her out for a ride. It's really challenging time for our family. And just to think I'm able to do something like leverage social media with this video, leverage a phone that I call my mom on to do this, leverage my deck because I'm standing on top of my deck. I'm standing on my deck. Leverage my home. This is my office. All because I began to understand that compounding didn't take for me to be the smartest person. I just need to be smart enough to take the shortcuts. Crazy, right? Just think about this for a moment. Imagine you knowing someone who understood leverage and compounding extremely well. So much so that they look for ways to apply it to every way in life. And then they want to show it to you. How would that change your life? We know people just want to make money, but they don't know how to manage it. I'm going to tell you something. I want to invite you somewhere. I don't know. You're interested. I started a book club. The reason why is because one of the things is that, you know what, you don't have to have a mentor you pay for all the time, but I include, and I just totally conclude, you want to invest. If you want your money to go further, you don't only put it in the marketplace, you got to put it in personal development, because no one can take that from you. I mean, it doesn't matter what what the challenges are. No one can take away what you've learned. You might can forget it though, but you can be reminded. I'm actually doing a book club. I know that leaders are readers, and a lot of people are struggling in business because they just don't want to read, or they're struggling in life because they don't want to read, because it feels like it's not taking you anywhere. Because you read books maybe in school and you're like, it didn't help me. I mean, like, I don't know, my pre-calculus book, I don't know. You know, it did help me with critical thinking. I don't know, it did something. But I will know that this book here, The Secrets of a Millionaire Mind, we're starting in my Power Moves book club. If you want to join us, come on and hop on in. It's about maybe nearly 4,000 other people that are already in there. We're going to be getting started with this on this evening. And then you can start to understand the power of the mind. Guess what? All of those shortcuts, you got to first make a decision, make up your mind. And that's hard. All this other stuff going in this mind, it is hard to make up your mind, because if you don't understand the principles, it's difficult. Hop in with us if you want to. Invite a few friends. Secrets of a Millionaire Mind. And remember those 3 shortcuts. You remember? Leverage, compounding, and mentorship. You might be looking for a mentor, might be looking to understand those things. You can DM me and maybe we'll chat. I don't mentor just anyone. It has to be a fit for me too. I love it. I love it. See you guys later. Hopefully this helped.